I'd like to take a moment to let you all know about a new non-profit organization started by my brother Craig. It's called Treats and Truth. They fill oversized brown lunch bags with snack items, chips, crackers, popcorn, cookies, etc. Also, a bottle of water, toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitary wipes, and most importantly, a small gospel tract book of John. No cigar? I'll have to talk to him about that. The bags are then hand-delivered to the homeless and people in need in and around the Los Angeles area. Let's help get this ministry off the ground. They're a 501c3 tax-exempt organization, so any and all donations are tax-deductible and greatly appreciated. Visit their website at treatsandtruth.org. Check out the show notes for the link. Also, please follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Welcome to episode 238 of the Burning Bush podcast, where we share the message of the Bible while enjoying a good cigar. Hope you're doing well, and I'm glad you've joined me. In this episode, we're reading the New Testament book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7, with commentary from the notes in the Charles Spurgeon Study Bible, and I'm smoking the Drew Estate Smoking Monk Porter in the Toro 6x54 Vitola. Let's go to cigarsinternational.com and see what they have to say. How does it go again? Does a monk smoke in the woods? I don't know much about that, but what I can tell you is that we just found a treasure trove of well-aged packs of the Smoking Monk by Drew Estate. After what has felt like an eternity since these have been off the market, we had the chance to get a limited number of packs of each Smoking Monk blend in a tasty Toro 6x54 size. There are certain things that just get better with age. Whiskey, beer, cheese, and most definitely, cigars. These relics from Drew Estate have been aging like fine wine since 2016, which means they're ready to be enjoyed with or without a pint. Where on earth would you find cigars aged for nearly a decade for this low? Normally, you'd pay extra for factory-aged cigars. Some of the bigwigs out there are charging porterhouse prices for just one. We don't believe in that hullabaloo here, so no worries there. Crack a cold one and prepare yourself for some serious, well-aged, tasty treats from Drew Estate. Get in and do some damage before we kick the keg. And the porter is a deep brown colored Maduro, offering a toasty tobacco core backed by rich, sweet notes of cocoa, espresso, and honey. And the profile is mild to medium. Wrapper is Maduro, and the binders and fillers are Nicaraguan. And all the Smoking Monks come in one size, one Vitola, the Toro 6x54. That is the Drew Estate Smoking Monk Porter. Let's get into our reading of 1 Corinthians chapter 7. I am reading from the English Standard Version, the ESV, in verse 1. Now concerning the matters about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer. But then come together again, so that Satan may not tempt you, because of your lack of self-control. Now as a concession, not a command, I say this. I wish that all were as I myself am, but each has his own gift from God, one of one kind and one of another. To the unmarried and the widows, I say that it is good for them to remain single as I am. But if they cannot exercise self-control, they should marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. To the married I give this charge, not I, but the Lord. The wife should not separate from her husband, but if she does, she should remain unmarried or else be reconciled to her husband, and the husband should not divorce his wife. To the rest I say, I, not the Lord, that if any brother has a wife who is an unbeliever, and she consents to live with him, he should not divorce her. If any woman has a husband who is an unbeliever, and he consents to live with her, she should not divorce him. For the unbelieving husband is made holy because of his wife, and the unbelieving wife is made holy because of her husband. Otherwise, your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbelieving partner separates, let it be so. In such cases, the brother or sister is not enslaved. God has called you to peace. For how do you know, wife, whether you will save your husband? Or how do you know, husband, whether you will save your wife? Only let each person lead the life that the Lord has assigned to him, and to which God has called him. This is my rule in all the churches. Was anyone at the time of his call already circumcised? Let him not seek to remove the marks of circumcision. Was anyone at the time of his call uncircumcised? Let him not seek circumcision. For neither circumcision counts for anything, nor uncircumcision, but keeping the commandments of God. Each one should remain in the condition in which he was called. Were you a bondservant when called? Do not be concerned about it. But if you can gain your freedom, avail yourself of the opportunity. For he who was called in the Lord as a bondservant is a freedman of the Lord. Likewise, he who was free when he was called is a bondservant of Christ. You were bought with a price. Do not become bondservants of men. So, brothers, in whatever condition each was called, there let him remain with God. Now concerning the betrothed, I have no command from the Lord, but I give my judgment as one who, by the Lord's mercy, is trustworthy. I think that in view of the present distress, it is good for a person to remain as he is. Are you bound to a wife? Do not seek to be free. Are you free from a wife? Do not seek a wife. But if you do marry, you have not sinned. And if a betrothed woman marries, she has not sinned. Yet those who marry will have worldly troubles, and I would spare you that. This is what I mean, brothers. The appointed time has grown very short. And Spurgeon comments on the first sentence in verse 29. The time is limited. First, this statement warns. Next, it suggests. Then, it inspires. And lastly, it alarms. Paul warns because if we knew the real worth of time, we would shrink from the smallest waste of so precious a thing. We cannot afford to lose it in senseless talk, idle gossip, or scandals. I wish it could be said of us that we wasted neither an hour of our own time nor an hour of other people's time. By the brevity of time and by the rapidity of its flight, I admonish all of us to invest each hour in some profitable manner that when past, it may not be lost. The time is limited also suggests that we have no time for dreary intervals spent in wandering and backsliding, for retracing our steps and repenting of evil, for becoming lukewarm and then rekindling our former commitment. The time is limited also should inspire us. It ought to fire us with zeal for immediate action. The time to do the deeds that we must do or leave undone flies swiftly past. The time is limited for others as well. I want to ring this sentence louder and louder in our ears, that it may inspire us to pray for immediate conversions. Then, seeing that the time is limited, let us bear with patience the ills that trouble us. Are we poor? The time is limited. Does the bitter cold pierce through our scanty garments? The time is limited. Is illness beginning to prey on our trembling frame? The time is limited. Are we unkindly treated by our relatives? Do our associates revile and our neighbors mock us? The time is limited. Have we to bear evil treatment from an ungenerous world? The time is limited. Do cruel taunts try our tempers? The time is limited. We are traveling at express speed and will soon be beyond the reach of all the incidents and happenings that disturb and distract us. Since the time is limited in which we can hold any possessions in this terrestrial sphere, let us not love anything here below too fondly. We brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 7. The time is limited should inspire us who are of the household of faith with the most joyous expectations, because its fulfillment is near. The time is limited also should alarm us. For those who have not believed in Christ and embraced the gospel, the time is limited. There is not time enough to spare. Time is rushing on, swiftly but silently. It soon will be lost for all eternity. And continuing in verse 29, from now on, let those who have wives live as though they had none, and those who mourn as though they were not mourning, and those who rejoice as though they were not rejoicing, and those who buy as though they had no goods, and those who deal with the world as though they had no dealings with it. For the present form of this world is passing away. I want you to be free from anxieties. The unmarried man is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to please the Lord. But the married man is anxious about worldly things, how to please his wife, and his interests are divided. And the unmarried or betrothed woman is anxious about the things of the Lord, how to be holy in body and spirit. But the married woman is anxious about worldly things, how to please her husband. I say this for your own benefit, not to lay any restraint upon you, but to promote good order and to secure your undivided devotion to the Lord. If anyone thinks that he is not behaving properly toward his betrothed, if his passions are strong, and it has to be, let him do as he wishes. Let them marry. It is no sin. But whoever is firmly established in his heart, being under no necessity, but having his desire under control, and has determined that this in his heart, to keep her as his betrothed, he will do well. So then he who marries his betrothed does well, and he who refrains from marriage will do even better. A wife is bound to her husband as long as he lives, but if her husband dies, she is free to be married to whom she wishes, only in the Lord. Yet in my judgment she is happier if she remains as she is. And I think that I, too, have the Spirit of God. That's the end of this episode. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the Charles Spurgeon Study Bible, as well as today's cigar. Also, Groundworks Ministries for daily Bible studies and devotionals. Treats and Truth Ministry, where you can get involved in helping to spread the gospel to and be a blessing to the homeless. And the Burning Bush merchandise store, where you can pick up some items to help spread the word about the show. If you know anyone who needs to hear this, please let them know about the podcast and help share the message of the Bible, the hope we have in Yeshua Messiah, Jesus Christ. If you'd like to contact me, you can email me at steve@theburningbushpodcast.com, which is linked in the show notes as well. So until next time, have a great day, have a great cigar, and God bless.